ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the UKLC, where we have ourselves our last matchup of the day, which is going to be Darkspawn taking on Fnatic Rising. This is the third time that Darkspawn have had to face off against Fnatic, and
they just showed Sin's name at the bottom. So
Wrong
nice
name.
to catch with you, Sin.
Yeah. Oh, am I Sin now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They literally just put Sin's name at the bottom.
You know, we just miss him, so we'll
Yeah.
just put his name at the bottom. Then
Not
he can be
this
here
week,
in
unfortunately.
text. You're right there.
Yeah, just, you know,
Fun and
admiring the powers. There we
there
go.
we are. That's my name.
Got it in the end.
I am JK Brain Matthews, and I'm obviously joined by Dan Orcs Harrison
And 3 Poros.
and 3 Poros. This is King Poro. He's actually he's big.
He's
actually
a big
quite
boy.
warm. It's real warm in the studio today. I'm just gonna put him on the chair.
Okay,
there you
yeah.
go.
There
There you go, buddy. Just gonna. You can't throw Poros. If Braun finds out.
I can't throw Poros. You were talking about eating Poros earlier. Yeah, everyone finds about that.
Yeah, well, Braun would be pretty angry.
We have the new statue over there staring at you.
He looks really good. I'll maybe get that later. Maybe tomorrow. I'll show you that. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup here, because, you know, Fnatic, you know, got knocked out last week twice.
Yep.
Knocked off the tower, then knocked out of the round of 8.
Yep.
Then they've been at the top, but if they lose today, it's set for maybe the Ivalus to be able to overtake them in the rankings.
Yeah.
It's set
I
for
mean,
M&M to overtake them in the rankings. They need to make sure they get this win if they want to hold out fast.
I think
and strong.
it is definitely a Fnatic favored game. I think Darkspawn have been on the weaker end of the teams there, but they've definitely shown some life. And I think last week was a big, oh god, Fnatic are running it down. Because if they do that again, then, you know, I think Darkspawn has a chance to beat them. But if they get back to their usual form...
I mean, you learn more from your losses than you do from your victories. So
True.
they can
So
take
surely
that.
Darkspawn's been learning a ton.
Yeah. And also, you know, Fnatic learned a ton last week. They lost twice. So
Yeah, you know, the only team to lose twice in a week in the UKLC, so impressive from them.
I know, very impressive. But, you know, we need to look at what went wrong. So what did go wrong?
Complete tangent point. Remember when Fnatic had that remake against SK? So they lost 3 times. They lost 2 times a day. It's both Fnatics, you know? They're
It's a
keeping
running
up a
theme.
trend.
It's a running theme, man. I mean, back when there was best of 2s in the LCS as well, that was
True.
they could technically lose 2 times in a row, which I'm fairly certain they probably did. Right, we're into picks and bans. Yasuo's going to get taken away. That Nico, once again, not going to be seen.
Yeah, Yasuo's been banned away a lot against Fnatic. You expect to see things like Lucian taken away in the early bans. Going to be interesting because Flirt's been playing a lot of this Draven. Do we see that banned away from him?
I want to see it.
It is like his pocket pick.
And it's quite good at the moment as well. People have opted away from the Conqueror and more into the press the attack or fleet
I've seen people go Klepto as well. If they're in a lane matchup, they can farm. Particularly in the Ezreal. We do see the Lucian banned away from Darkspawn, which is interesting that they're banning it on blue side. Does that mean Fnatic answer with a Drake?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
It does.
I don't know why I said no. I saw it went no.
Means to answer the Draven ban. Potentially something, well, yeah, Jarvan could come out. Maybe something like the Yorick from Fnatic Rising. I think you just ban away these problematic split pushers. And it comes down to what Darkspawn going to pick, because Flirt looked great on the Draven. He doesn't have that anymore. We are seeing the Thresh taken away from Vigor. So punishing that bot lane, you could still get some early power if you wanted to pick a Kalista. Very confident early pick. Leaving the support till later to decide the matchup, but question's going to be what are Fnatic going to take into this, and looks like they might go back to Dan's Olaf, which we saw a lot of strength in the early weeks, but did flounder a bit at times when he falls behind. It's rare, but he
Not
can
into
be
his Scarface either. That's been, you know, quite a staple for the Fnatic Rising, at least for the first few weeks. They were picking that. Instantly going to lock Prosper the Alistair as well. See what Darkspawn look to answer out with. I mean, Galio Kalista makes for a really powerful lane. You lob him in, he taunts up the whole team. And
that's pretty solid. They have an answer though, because the good thing about Alistair is that you can't dodge the combo. You can flash it, but you can't dodge it. If the Alistair's in range to combo you, you get comboed as long as he doesn't mess it up. So it's a good answer to the Kalista. Olaf, not so much. It's quite good at kiting it, but this is the textbook down pick that he's seen quite a bit of success on. We'll be interested to see if Darkspawn pick up a jungler in response. But they're actually going to go for mid, so Beely bringing out the Orianna very early on. And the question is going to be instant Lissandra coming out. Probably from Magi Felix. They are going for very much a mid-game teamfight engage composition. They want to lock down those carries and murder them. But these are very quick picks coming out from Fnatic, so it almost suggests that they expected this and they planned for it. Do have a ban towards at least in for PFI. Wouldn't surprise if we see something like the Sejuani taken off as well. And Darkspawn, I would lean a couple of bans towards AD carries if I was on their side, but there is still the option of top laners, because remember, if Shikari wants it, he can get that counter pick.
I mean, the Kai'Sa is still open and available. We've seen XMADI like that. Tristana is still open as well, something we've seen in the UK running for a while.
Yeah.
And it's pretty decent on this patch.
To me, that comp is a Sivir comp.
Ooh.
Like, if you have the Olaf, the Alistar, the Lissandra, that is a composition I'd want to play Sivir with. I would ban Sivir next rotation if I was Darkspawn. Potentially take away the Sejuani or the Gragas if I was Fnatic Rising. Gragas would be good because of the disengage. Sejuani is just pretty solid, and PFI is definitely taking a liking to it. So they're actually going to go for the Kindred, so opting for something that will offer protection to the backline, but does mean that the Gragas and Sejuani are still available. And it's got to be a Sivir. To me, it has to be a Sivir ban coming out here. I'd really worry if it wasn't.
No, it's the Tristana. I was 2 for 2 there, my dude, but this means XMADI can take it, which means you're right as well, so...
I think they should just take the Sivir here. I think it'd be a really solid pick. The matchup into Kalista isn't the best, but I don't think you have to play for that because you just win team fights so hard with the Sivir.
I mean, you can't go for something really flashy, but I feel like Fnatic Rising, they know they need to win today. They know they need to play safe, so most likely something like a Sivir would suit what they're looking for.
It's a bit dicey in a lane matchup, but you don't play for the lane matchup. You play to win team fights, and they will go for that Sivir, which means that Fnatic Rising, they have a composition similar to what Barrage were going for, where they press R and they run at you. And that is so hard to deal with this Kalista, because Kalista wants to kite back. She wants a little bit of space. No one on that composition wants to give you space. So now it comes over to what Darkspawn are going to pick in return. Gragas would be a decent pickup in terms of disengage, but the matchup in Olaf, it can be okay. So they're going to go for that Gragas. And then top lane, Yorick is open. Okay, bear that in mind that they could always pick that Yorick pick. So that is always a threat from Shikari. So you have to pick something versatile that can match up in the split push, but also offers a solid front line to your team. So, bit of a tricky one. Leaning towards that Ornn, which
is versatile.
Wouldn't do that good into the split push, but would give a good late game win condition. So now the question is going to be, are Fnatic going to double down their team fight? Or are they going to go, hey, we can pick like the Yorick in the side lane and win the split push? Because that is an absolute option. Looks like they are playing with fire.
I'd actually like to see the team fight here, but
I'd like to see the Yorick because it gives them an extra win condition. Their team fight's already pretty good.
Yeah, you know, just make it better.
But yeah, the Yorick does get locked in, so 100% win rate. Yeah, oof. Well, I've been pretty good on these predictions.
Yeah, you've done pretty good.
So
I got my 2. So
yeah,
you know, for me as a play-by-play caster, I can walk away quite happy with that.
I can see the ideas behind both compositions. I think Fnatic came out ahead in this draft because their comp's pretty easy to execute and they have that split push win condition. I will say, however, Darkspawn have some mean disengage. If Orianna and Kalista are allowed to kite, they do it very well. The only concern for me is this top lane matchup, because in the late game, Yorick is just going to try and murder towers, and Horn, as most tanks in that matchup, isn't going to handle too well. It's not the worst, it's not great.
I feel like, though, if Darkspawn can get off like a really like kind of perfectly executed team fight, Call of the Forge God to engage, then they throw in the Galio.
I mean, I don't think it comes down to engage.
Gets a shockwave on top of him. You have Flirt just kiting around the edge of the fight.
I think it just comes down to disengage more than anything. Is that if you look for the engages, you might well struggle. But if you look to disengage, if they go absolutely as hard as they can and try and get on top of your Kalista, and your Kalista Orianna kite back, you get a good shockwave, good Gragas barrel, you could very really turn it around. Because one of the crucial things is that you look at Fnatic's comp, they are very short ranged. And if you want to get close to a Kalista or a Orianna, you better be hitting them, because if you're in close range to them and you're not, you will just get blown up. Like if a Sivir's running up and then you get caught by a shockwave and there's a Kalista hitting you as well, you will die so quickly. And that's why I feel like the execution can be there. They have the good composition to find those engages, but if they botch it, it could really go dire fast. But they do have that Yorick split push, so that's always an extra win condition.
Well, let's take a little look at the Darkspawn run-up, followed up by the Fnatic line-up here. Pretty much all the same from what we've seen for previous weeks. No changes. As we are through on to the Summoner's Rift for our 4th and final game here at day 1, week 5 of the UKLC. It's all to play for. We've only got 2 weeks left to the regular split.
Yeah, definitely getting the thick of things. And how fast things have gone.
Yeah, like I'm actually, I can't believe how, like, I got in this morning. I didn't come in this morning. I came in midday. Actually, well after midday.
I slept here. I didn't actually leave last week. That's why I'm wearing the same clothes.
Oh, okay. They just let you back in.
No, I just slept the whole time. I was just here the whole.
I mean,
week.
after we went to Nando's, you know.
Yeah. I came back in. Yeah.
So.
They just let me in. The broken window was completely unrelated.
Oh, okay. Yeah. With the orc-shaped hole in the window.
Don't know what you're talking about. Must have been a big hole.
Oh, all right.
So we do see
It's gone
Dan
sweeper.
for the early sweeper.
We've seen a few junglers pick this up, especially if you want to be proactive on the map. It means you can head in, try and catch out these wards. And
Yeah, but you have to ask, what is he going to do with it? Because one of the crucial things you can do is, it's very common in the early levels for these pixel brush wards to come out. You can see on the bot side, and I believe it's a Ghost Paro on the top side. So it does give him some freedom to move through that area and clear it out. But it's interesting to see how he clears. Whether he does go for that Predator Rush. I feel like Dan sort of pissed he might go for the Scuttle Crab first and worry more about getting an efficient clear. This is the downside of that Alistar lane, not a champion to level 2.
Yeah. Where Vigo on this Galio is definitely a champion at all levels.
Absolutely. That level 1, pretty strong power spike. You can go that taunt.
The Colossal Smash.
Both of them work, both viable level 1s, and his level 2 spike pretty significant as well. I think Alistar, when he hits level 3 and gets that trample, is in a pretty good position, but have to err on the side of safety until then. Be interested to see what skill order Akkas goes, because traditionally it's always been the W max Ornn, like when Ornn was super meta, but I think they changed it, and it's actually better to go different things. I remember Olrome, who's a top laner for Splice Academy, he was saying how he felt Emax was really solid, but I think the standard is Q, but I think you can go all 3, but I feel like in a matchup into now things will just quiet down, and Dan actually invading the enemy jungle.
If anyone is a little bit confused, it's not Barrage versus XL. We're 4 out of 4 on this today. It's Darkspawn versus Fnatic.
Yep, so hopefully we get that sorted out pretty soon.
So don't be voting for Barrage and XL in this.
I think it'd be a safe bet to go for XL.
Yeah. Man, so you're a time traveler.
I'm just pretty smart. He's going very slow right now.
You say that, Vigo goes in. Headbutt actually comes back down. The Winds of War are on Xmatic's forced to use the heal, but they've got themselves their auto attack reset. Flirt takes a big chunk of damage.
You take that. I mean, yes, Flirt is slightly lower, but you crucially got that heal out of Xmati. It's a good trade. I'll take it. That summon advantage could come in clutch later on. Especially one of the big things of bot lane is when you go into those fights, and this is why I might use it so early, but I would probably say too early. But the reason you want to use your heal early is because Ignite cuts down the healing from it.
Yeah.
So a good support will use Ignite when he thinks he's going to kill you, and then your heal's got reduced effectiveness, which is why at the high level, AD carries will try and use the heal earlier than the Ignite comes. So if Flirt gets a good one out before Crossfair's Ignite comes down, they could definitely get a massive advantage in the 2v2 fight. Interesting to see that Matty did opt for the heal. He knows that there's a lot of lane strength from this Kalista, because sometimes you do see those Sivers go and teleport.
And I feel if Flirt had used his heal, probably looking at a fairly equal trade, but because of the fact that Xmati did use his heal, he walks away with more HP, but like you said, for him,
I think it's balanced out by this point as well.
The fleet footwork as well has helped Xmati kind of stay fairly in control of his health.
But I think looking at health bars, they're right even now, so
yeah.
You definitely take that now. Flirt gone for a recall, crucially, so I'll equalize there. And Dan just going on a storm once again with his farming. And this is what he does. This is the Dan way. You farm hard, and he is now pretty significant CS lead over PFI. PFI unable to find any ganks yet, but just hasn't had the most efficient pathing compared to Dan, who is essentially the pathing god in the UK scene. Not the most impactful in the terms of ganking, but he will make sure he gets a big amount of CS and is strong. And the thing is, his lane, he's pretty confident, just let them do their own thing, and they will find strength.
All right, 5 minutes on the clock. Dan's going to start up this Ocean Drake. You can see Fnatic have himself a slight gold lead over Darkspawn.
The Ocean Dragon tends to be the one that people don't rate too much until you get a couple, but it is the strongest in the early game. In the early levels, Mountain doesn't do much for you because you're not taking Baron or anything. Cloud, it's okay for roaming, but it's not great. Infernal's nice, but at this point in the game, it's barely giving you a longsword. But Ocean, that extra sustain in lane is so nice to have across the board. I don't think there's a single champion who wouldn't like that. I mean, obviously, manaless ones don't get quite as much benefit, but you can see picked up now by Dan, and this is exactly how Dan wants his early game to go. Look at the CS difference in the jungle. He's 2 levels up, even though he picked up that dragon as well. Now 1 level, but still, they're looking mid.
In. Beely's used the cleanse already, and the flash. Not going to be able to get himself a turnaround here, and Beely also takes that Q to the face on the way out.
Yep, felt threatened, felt he had to flash, and this is the issue. Dan now higher level. This is when he can start to make his impact known on the map. He has that level 6 advantage over PFI, and his first gank is definitely a success, getting 2 summoners from the Orianna, who is pretty vulnerable if she's caught without them.
Now Magifelix has flash, and when his R comes up, maybe that's the play. Goes in for the flash R. Dan comes hurling in as well on that. Olaf could be pretty rough for Beely now.
Aka's going to be playing 1v2 top lane up against both the Maiden and the Yorick. Always fun.
Well, Dan's also waiting about. So he's hanging around this top side. Top to mid is where he's kind of been playing so far. Just going for an invade, trying to get some vision.
It'd be bold to go for a dive on the Ornn now, and I think, understandably, they're not going to go for it. Let Akis just pick up this wave, but they do have quite a bit of control in the topside area, and that's something you want to establish, because 2 minutes, we're going to see the Rift Herald be spawned. And I have no doubt Dan is going to just head straight over to that.
Well, he's got a 30 CS lead almost over PFI. He's also running that Predator as well, so can make these plays happen quickly.
Okay, it's now 1 level again. PFI just hit 6, but the level advantage is really crucial as well. Those early levels,
it's like 11 and a half, I think. Shikari will be able to get this plate in. Maiden just slowly takes it.
Almost the entire goal difference between the 2 teams now is on Dan. Just purely on that Olaf. There's a bit coming from Shikari as well, but it's pretty significant.
Is he taking the blue? Yeah, he is.
Wow. Greedy jungler.
He's being that jungler.
Yeah, that sort of one, especially when Magifelix isn't even going for a mana item, but I suppose he's fairly confident in his mana levels. Does have the TP as well, if he wants to get back in the lane.
It's not the old Lissandra passive, where you got 1 free spell every 8 seconds.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is that her base mana regen got buffed as a result of that being removed, so not an awful position.
Plus, the new passive is very impactful.
It's so good for team fights,
yeah. Especially in closed environments where you're basically just permanently slowing people, popping them.
Yeah.
I said permanently.
I mean, the worst thing is, imagine you're trapped in the cage from Yorick.
PFI's on a ward, so
I'm not sure he knows though.
Fnatic know though.
He's gonna tell
their ward.
To me, if I was Fnatic, I'd be heading towards that top side and getting control of that Rift Herald area, because it's spawning soon.
Beely's cleanse comes up soon, so
needs to play safe till he has that. Looks like Fnatic gonna shove that mid lane in pretty hard and then get control of this Rift Herald area.
Yeah, Dan definitely wants to get his hands on that. He's 2 levels over PFI, and he's actually found him out here. No, he hasn't, but maybe Beely's found him. Just walking away. PFI spotted out on that control. We've got placed down by Dan.
And it's going to get killed.
It's definitely been a slower start to this game. Last game, very explosive, very action-packed. Fnatic, knowing that I had such a big upset last week, and the standings were shaken up so much by them losing.
Yeah.
Playing with a lot of respect towards their opponents. They've gone for the lane swap. You can see Fnatic are also doing the exact same thing. They know how much emphasis is being put down onto this Rift Herald.
It's going to be a big one, and I feel like at this point in the game, I have to favor the team fight from Fnatic, especially with how strong Dan is. So I think Darkspawn, they're happy with a slow game right now because Fnatic's mid game is scary. They want to get to that point where the Ornn's massive and starts giving out items, and Beely can just dominate with a shockwave, and where that Olaf gold lead doesn't mean so much. But now, Matty walking up.
They're throwing him in. That's going to be Fate's call. Spell Shield blocks it up, and Prosper uses the Unbreakable. Now PFI making his way in, does have that cast, throws it down. He's tanking up so much health. In comes the double teleport, and Magic Felix ults himself inside Vigo. Here comes the bounce house. Here comes the Ornhorn, knocking up one, and first blood picked up by Dan. But Fnatic are hungry for blood. They're itching for kills, but Darkspawn will not give it up to them.
Yeah, just overzealous from Flair. Ooh, they went aggressive. They didn't find Matty. That's fine. But don't commit onto the Alistar. He still had flash. He still had ult. It just really was not the play you should be looking for. And now it hands over that Rift Herald straight to Fnatic.
Prosper bought so much time. Look at his health. He's fine.
I mean, he's Alistar. You just press R and stand there.
Beely takes a Boomerang Blade. That's a shockwave available to him, though. Akka's also on the wings. He could see maybe Darkspawn try something. Not going to do it, though. They just let Fnatic pick up the Rift Herald, and now they're going to try and see where they can crack open on the game, as plates haven't actually fallen down too much here. We're approaching that 14-minute mark as well, where they're going to fall off. So all that bonus gold that Fnatic could pick up and just accelerate the state of the game.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd head bot. They're moving their bot lane down already. Well, MJR Mouthpiece, I think that prediction of yours is fairly... if I was on Fnatic, I'd be coming back one at a stomp. You know, I'd be coming back with a chip on my shoulder, and right now they're heading over to the bot side of the map, moving the bot lane there as well. And with that Rift Herald up, like you said, they can get a load of plates, but also that Cloud Dragon definitely on the cards.
All right. Cloud Drake really enables a lot of this kind of run comp as well. Just gives so many more bonus movement speed, especially considering it now applies in combat as well as out of combat.
Yeah.
I say now as if it hasn't been a thing for a very long time. Beely, though, maybe looking for something onto Prosper. Not going to find him.
Prosper's waiting. He might actually look for something here, but Darkspawn not going to walk up. And Jakari is doing Yorick things and just splitting away in the top lane.
He got a lot of plates.
Yeah.
He got 3 plates there in the top lane, because one had already gone down earlier. Rift Herald still being held on for by Dan. They're starting up this Cloud Drake. Darkspawn know it's going on. They don't have complete vision on it, but they know it's happening. It's going to get picked up here. In 5 seconds till those plates fall off, so not going to use the Rift Herald for the bonus gold, but will most likely use it for a turret.
Which, in terms of gold, they'll get less overall off the map, but the thing is they're clearly waiting to get the most structural damage possible. Because if you use it after the 40 minutes, it's so much easier just to take off the tower at the back end. We've seen so many pre-40-minute Rift Heralds chunk the tower down but not kill it. And then the plating is just too much to survive the auto attacks from the rest of the team. So it's clear Fnatic are looking to accelerate this game, not necessarily on goal, but on objective control. And
doing a good job of controlling the objectives as well. This is one of the things we can say about the Fnatic Rising squad. This is a team who've definitely had some of the best control we've seen so far, maybe ignoring last week. But generally their games have been very clean, very
slow and controlled, methodical. That is their game style, which is why it's not a surprise this game's been quite slow-paced, but I do expect things to explode a bit more in the mid-game. They have so much potential to find team fights. We'll see the gold come up, and pretty big difference in the jungle and top lane. That's where I'm really looking. 1,300 roughly for both of them. And jungle, it's an issue right now, but eventually it's not going to be as impactful. But top lane, that Yorick's going to be scary.
Going to be very scary. You can see that, like, there's one moment is all Fnatic need to blow this game open. It's how they've played pretty much every other week. As PFI ulted and cancelled it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Smart moves from PFI, but
so
Dan,
a few visual bugs there, but
Dan just
great
sleeping,
ulti.
yeah.
Magic Felix will be able to take this turret down in the bot lane, but mid lane turret now will remain standing. I mean, which really slows down Fnatic's plan of the 1-3-1 way.
Yeah, but it's still a rough victory. It's like, cool, we saved 1 tower, but we lost 2. You know, it's still not great. Does put Fnatic at a 4K goal lead, but as you said...
It doesn't completely shrink the map, though, for Darkspawn, which is the nice thing here.
But now, you got to expect Fnatic going to start really applying the pressure in this mid lane. Why wouldn't you?
Well, Maiden and Shikari making their way towards the top lane. 4 members of Fnatic are hanging around this mid lane. They know that this is how you start to open up the map. This is how you start to shrink the map for the enemy. Get a bit more control. You can then move in, play some deeper wards, and play a more controlled game. It's only 16 minutes on the clock. Gold lead. 4K in favor of Fnatic for the moment.
Flirt and Vigo able to defend mid pretty safely. And that's the thing, with the Callistas, you can always walk forwards as a Galio. You know that ult's going to come in to save you. So using that to get a bit of control. But I mean, one of the dire things, you have the TP on Magic Felix, not yet available, but it means he's always going to be comfortable in the side lane. Beely, not so much. And you can see he's hesitating to head down there. So right now, it's a bit of a battle for vision between these two teams.
Just taking a bit of a 1v1 here. Can see Maiden.
Ooh, that's actually a
fair amount of damage here, actually.
That's actually a solid point I didn't think about for the Ornn, is that your E actually destroys terrain, like player-owned terrain. So it can actually just smash through the cage he puts around you. That's a pretty cool interaction. But still, absolutely gets murdered by him in terms of damage.
I mean, Shikari didn't even hit him. It was just Maiden sucking his soul out.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a Death Eater from Harry Potter.
Yeah, very much so.
Maybe less scary to kids. Is Beely?
Beely.
That's pretty scary. Dan's looking for him. Has himself the ultimate, but not going to use the Ragnarok to stop the blast cone.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know Beely's got summoners, but it means they get a lot of pressure on this bot side. Prospero's going to use his Demolish. And I really have to question if Beely can defend this.
Answer's probably no here. Dan doing a fair amount of work onto this turret as PFI is making his way through. Prosper, the Living Ward has spotted him out. That's going to be the Predator on the Ornhorn gets used, and Magic Felix flashes away from both of them. Gets clipped with the tail end of the Call of the Forge God.
But meanwhile, top lane, Yorick is doing Yorick things. And this is a problem. You commit one side, on the other side of the map, you're just going to get pressured in. Fnatic playing this 1-3-1 exactly how it should be done. And they not only do they get that top tower, they get the bottom one as well. And now this mid lane tower is sticking out like a sore thumb. It's going to be very difficult to defend from here. But for now, Fnatic going to reset, spend a bit of that gold on Magic Felix. Next dragon up for 10 seconds.
It's going to be another Ocean Drake. Zexmatic throws the Boomerang Blade out. He's gone Essence Reaver over Infinity Edge. Difference from what we saw last game.
Yeah,
Shikari
I think
wants to join in, gets belly bopped here. Vigo charging that Taunter. Doesn't actually find an opening. Headbutt Pulverizes coming in. Dance joined the fight. A 3-man Shockwave though comes down by Beely. In comes the Claw, and Magic Felix has jumped in. The ultimate is going to pick up one already. They pull him back, and the Frozen Thrall chases Darkspawn out. Fnatic find themselves 1 kill.
that gold lead showing up huge there. So much damage from the side of Fnatic. Even with the big 3-man shockwave from Beely, it just wasn't enough. And I think your point about the Essence Reaver completely makes sense. No. You're in a position where your job is basically just to wave clear mid and be an ult bot. The CDR are a lot more useful in that scenario. So Mighty knows this game isn't about him. He didn't pick a lane matchup where he's going to dominate. He picked a lane matchup to facilitate his team, and right now it really is the Shikari show in the side lane, and then Dan facilitating that.
Yeah, Captain Wave Clear. That's his job here.
And that's
He's
why
got himself the rapid fire cannon now.
Yeah.
Over just the Blade of the Ruin King and double daggers for Flirt. So got himself a whole item. As Baron Nashor will take to the Rift. For the first time today, we haven't seen a Mountain Drake, and the next Drake will also be a third Ocean. So you had some good Drakes at the beginning of the day. So since I've come on, it's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Although the XL game was explosive. They didn't need Drakes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's just another win condition for Fnatic when it gets later on, because Ornn is great in the late because of those items he offers.
Oh, flirt. Magic Felix throws in the Frozen Tomb. Prospect comes in and steals away the kill. The Frozen Thrall locks Vigo down. He's taking so much damage here as Magic Felix is throwing Q after Q. Blocks out the Justice Punch here by Prospect. Does have himself the Headbutt Pulverize available. And the stuns are coming in. And Axe comes down. And poor old Magic Felix has 2 kills taken away from him. But the minions are on. They're jumping in for Akers. His health bar's low and Shikari's chasing. One more spade to the head should do it. But the minions come in and get the kill for him. Shikari with the solo kill and a wholesome signature at the bottom of the screen.
Wait, he's trying to TP out.
Oh, can he get it? The shockwave's available.
He gets it!
He's gonna get out, and oh my lord, Shikari escapes. PFI now wants to see if he can steal this away. Already used himself the belly bop, and Magic Felix is on zone control. The blast,
there's no way from here.
PFI, you are in a dangerous predicament, my friend. Maybe Magic Felix can get this kill. The fail flash, he goes
and the stopwatch
golden
as well.
You hate to see it.
That suggests a little bit of tilt coming out from PFI.
Oh,
right there. Not happy with the way this game has gone, and Shikari gets the kill in the 1v1 and then TP's out.
Perfect game here by Fnatic.
It is so far, yeah, absolutely.
6-0 on the scoreboards, 3-0 Drakes, a 10k gold lead. They've got the only Baron that spawned of the game. They've got 5 turrets to 0. Fnatic are playing a clean, controlled game here versus Darkspawn.
Someone annoyed them last week when they got taken out.
I think it was
very much annoyed them.
I think it was Eminem, and I think it was Enclave.
Yeah, and they are taking it out on Darkspawn right now.
I think they probably annoyed themselves.
Yeah.
Those teams played well. They played poorly last week. It's fair to say that. They've bounced back and they're playing a very clean, controlled macro game here.
But, always got to be a but.
But Akers might be in trouble. In comes the hero's entrance. They've got the Call of the Forge God on. Knocks him up with the Justice Punch and the taunt comes down. 4 members invested into Shikari.
5.
And your perfect game is over, Fnatic. You will lose an inhibitor turret, though, as Fnatic are just going to rip through this objective with the Baron, with the Demolishes.
Yeah, they takes 5 members to safely take down Shikari. As you said, denies that perfect game, but an inhibitor tower goes over. I think that's a decent trade. You're probably going to lose it anyway. You might as well stop some of the pressure. So good move from Darkspawn.
And you actually keep 2 of your key disengage ultimates as well for the next stage, where you've got that shockwave, you've got the Fate's Call, you've got the explosive cask. But Fnatic aren't even letting them get into that opening, aren't even letting them that happen. Predator's been popped by Dan, and Inhibitor is getting focused out here by this cannon minion. Flirt will be able to take it down, but Magic Felix, he's got his own minions to work with for the moment, and Shikari is back onto the Rift.
Okay, so the miracle win condition for Darkspawn is an overcommit from Fnatic, and they get a big shockwave to turn the fight around. It's not a great win condition because it relies on Fnatic making a mistake, but it's what they have to hope for right now because they are not in a good position.
Darkspawn able to hold out for the moment. Third Ocean Drake spawning in 1 minute's time. Sexmatic still got that Baron. About 2-3 waves left of it. The Shikari doesn't have it, which is quite key.
Darkspawn light look here.
They're going in. Vigo goes in for the taunt. Boomerang Blade connects onto him. Teleport's coming in. Shikari looking to go into the fight. Shockwave lands onto no one. In comes the taunt. Oh, Magic Felix! That was disgusting! And Fnatic are now on a tear. Beely and PFI are the only 2 to stand as the rest of the team fall down. The inhibitor will go down, and Fnatic are looking to try and close this game out right here. Another turret will fall to the Maiden. The inhibitors to follow. They've got Baron still. They've got minions still. 2 inhibitors down and 2 members of Darkspawn to defend. A lot of damage. The minions go launching in. The headbutt pulverized, and Shikari takes him down. Turret number 1 and turret number 2 short to follow. Fnatic in 25 minutes crush Darkspawn.
And that was a fast game. Not quite perfect, but very close from Fnatic.
I mean, you can't give Shikari MVP. He inted them the perfect game. But outside of that, Fnatic played a fantastic game, and you took 5 members of Darkspawn to kill Shikari. It was rough for them. They had a really hard early game. Well, I mean, it actually had an equal early game, but it was just the mid game. Fnatic just remained in control.
Fnatic played the exact game they want. You know, they got that slow attrition ahead. They got that lead onto Dan. They started building an objective lead, And then when the time came to it, there was just nothing that Darkspawn could do against a 1-3-1. And that side lane pressure from the Yorick just became too much of an issue. I said in draft, I feel like they should have banned away the Yorick or the Sivir. Both of those are viable options. I feel like the Yorick just came to be too much on the handle, and it put a timer on the game. Because that's the thing, is normally if you're against a mid-game team fighting comp like Fnatic, you're like, okay, we survived the mid-game, we can scale up. But with that Yorick, it's just never really the case.
It was really clean by Fnatic. Obviously, we now look at who's made it through into the semi-finals for tomorrow. Obviously, Diabolus remain at the top of the tower, so they're still there as a threat for the teams. You've got Fnatic and XL are the two key ones I'm watching. XL had a rough 2 weeks, Fnatic had a rough week last week, and both of these teams are currently in positions where their spot in the rankings could be undone in a moment. So for them both to get a win is going to be big but here. If XL and Fnatic draw against each other, that could change a lot in the standings. But we do have our MVP. I'm wrong. It's Shikari, our wholesome buddy.
Even though they committed 5 members to take it down, it was his side pressure that got him to that point. So far ahead in that Yorick. What an alpha.
I mean, the whole team played incredibly well. I'm just going to let that go. They played really well. But you need to look at, where were the weaknesses? Where were they exploitable for tomorrow? And were there any cracks kind of shown?
No. I don't think that was a game where there was any sort of weaknesses shown by Fnatic, other than if you send 5 members against
That's not a weakness. The only thing that hurts is your perfect score. But outside of that, that's not a weakness. That's, I mean, I guess that's a strength, if anything. Shikari is such a threat.
The argument you can make that is always true is that Dan didn't make much happen in the early game. It was very slow and controlled. If you go in hard with like an aggressive jungler, as we saw, Wyzek likes to do, we saw Nalty did that on his game. If you go in very aggressive, you can make more happen in the early game. But the problem was PFI just didn't find the traction, and so Dan farmed up a storm.
So who out of our junglers who've made it through do we think could be Dan's kryptonite?
Well, Tax's Elise game was pretty solid. If you pick a matchup in the Yorick that wasn't as desperately going to lose it in the late game, and you punish him like that, because remember, we saw the split push potential coming out from the matchup into Sendo. But Sendo, they just got the massive lead against that Aatrox, so that he could absolutely do it. I feel like Nalty could do it as well, and I feel like just maybe, not to discredit PFI, because he's been really solid so far, but he just never really found the footing in that one.
All right, well, let's take a little look at the replays coming out of today's game so far, while we get ourselves set up for the draw show that's coming up just after this.
So first blood of the whole day over Tolium, who's shown a new pick this Rek'Sai, but was enough to take them to victory. And then there was a pretty nutty solo kill from Ego Speed, but not enough. That's the thing. These are like 2 good plays coming out from the side of Bulldogs, but they were the losers ultimately. It was, again, a solid game coming out from Phelan, who showed that they have found the sort of footing as a team. But the issue is, with how close things were against them and Bulldog, because yes, they won, but it wasn't super decisive. If they go up against a team like Fnatic, Phelan have to bring a whole nother game if they want to win that one.
Ego Speed looked very good in this game. I think it's fair to say he's not in the he's not in it anymore. But it's really been a game, a day, of top laners. Mumus versus Governor. Mumus looked incredible. Governor less so. Shikari for Fnatic got MVP. He was such a split push threat. It's been heavily decided by these top laners. And like game 3 XL, we see Sendo on the Renekton, and he looked incredible. But it's been a good day. It's been a good day for top laners here in the UK scene. But look where we are. We are ready for today's draw show. Now, I say this every week, but if you don't know what's going on, I'll explain what's going on here in the draw show. Now, after the round of 8 has ended, which was today's games, we have the semi-finals tomorrow. Now, we're going to draw who's going to be playing versus who. So, draw number 1 will be blue side for game 1 tomorrow. So, Ox, you can have the honors. I've not actually had the honors yet, but I don't trust myself. Closes his eyes.
Gotta make it fair. And it is... Whoa! XL.
Okay, XL will be on the blue side for game 1 tomorrow. So this will be blue side for game 2 tomorrow. This next team we're drawing. Now, if you're a team like Fnatic, this would be really nice because you want to avoid XL for at least as long as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is who's going to be avoiding XL. But if you're someone like M&M, you want to be avoiding.
It is M&M, so they avoid XL.
Question is, do they avoid Fnatic and go up versus someone like Bulldogs? Yeah. No, Phelan, sorry. Phelan. I don't know why I said Bulldogs, right, Phelan. So this is going to be red side for game 1. So the team taking on XL.
Oh, this is Fnatic. It's going to be a spicy match.
It's going to be a very spicy match.
But it is going to be Fnatic Rising.
Fnatic Rising. All right, so our first game of tomorrow's day will be Fnatic Rising versus XL. And just for clarity's sake, you made me flinch. I don't know why I flinched as you threw the ball in the air.
It's going to be Phelan against M&M.
All right, let's get rid of this. I don't want this anymore. Oh, right. So, I would... There we go. Can he hold himself up?
It's like me after a night out.
Let's have a little look at the standings coming out of today's games and see where everyone is facing up. As Diabolus will remain at the top of the tower, 13 points. As Fnatic Rising, 12 points in second place. XL and M&M tied, and they will be avoiding each other. So if XL get knocked out by Fnatic, M&M can overtake them now.
Yeah, and I mean, I would argue that M&M have the easier matchup into Phelan, but by all means, Phelan... They have so much ground they can gain right now if they get a good week.
Well, let's have a little look at the bracket as well, just so you guys can visualize how everything will be going down. Obviously, Phelan beat out versus Barrage. We'll bring that up in a second.
That was a fake bracket. We tricked you again.
Yeah, we got you. That's what we did. First fake breaks, and then...
You guys fall for it every time.
You see, we wouldn't do it if you guys didn't fall for it. That's literally it.
But in the meantime, we have a little intermission. Oh, no, we're not. The bracket is
there. We are. All right, now we can see. So, obviously, like I said, game 1 of tomorrow in the semi-finals will be XL on the blue side versus Fnatic on the red side. Game 2 will be M&M versus Phelan. M&M on that blue side, Phelan on the red side. Winner of those 2 games go into the finals, then go into the Tower Challenge to try and take on Diabolus. If you're M&M, you got to be hungry now. You beat Fnatic last week, you got yourself at the top of the tower, and then Diabolus dethroned you after a day and a half.
Absolutely. And I feel like you could probably say, okay, we dodged both the LEC sister teams. We're in a pretty favorable position. But Phelan also dodged both of them. So I feel like both of those teams got to be hungry to grab points. But that match between Fnatic and XL, they are both going to be...
It's going to be so good,
They're going to be so hungry because both of them need to redeem themselves. And I wouldn't exactly sit here and say, look, it's going to be like a finals because by all means, these teams have been underperforming recently. But these teams are... XL and Fnatic need to redeem themselves, and I don't think either is going to let the other have the opportunity for free. Well, redemption's on the card for those teams, but for you guys at home, we have one more job for you. If you head over to our Twitter at LVPUK, use that hashtag UKLC to get in touch with us, but we will have a vote going up as soon as the show is ended for your unsung hero. So you guys, make sure that you hit us up with who you think deserves MVP coming out of today. We'll put 4 names up, and tomorrow we will announce it. Also, if you missed any games today, make sure you get over to the YouTube, LVP UK, where you can catch up on all of the games that you've maybe missed, or only the games from previous weeks, or even our previous tournament. I mean, it's easy for me to say what game I'd want to watch again. I think it'd be game 3. Game 3 was pretty good. It was explosive. It was good. It was feisty. Feisty. Now, guys, thank you very much for joining us here at the UKLC. We will be back same time tomorrow. So until then, we'll see you later. Make sure you tune in.